We're on a show on February 26, 2021, an interview with Dr. Judy Mikovits, where you said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving Black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that Blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different vaccine schedule would you say I should have received? What different vaccine schedule should I have received?
I mean, the Poland article suggests that Blacks need fewer antigens than.
This is so dangerous.
You get the same measles vaccine.
Mr. Kennedy, with all due respect, that is so dangerous. Your voice would be a voice that parents would listen to. That is so dangerous. I will be voting against your nomination because your views are dangerous to our state and to our country.
I mean, do you think science is dangerous, Senator? This is published, peer-reviewed studies.
I yield.
So
a Black fool.
Yeah.
A Black fool.
That's what they're trained to do, right? So her staff sat her down and said, "This is the point you're supposed to make. You wait till the end of your time where he doesn't have adequate time to speak. You cut him off and then you yield whatever time you have left." It's political gamesmanship, something that Angela Alsobrooks is very familiar with. But in her little diatribe, she spoke about danger. Now, the county that I live in is adjacent to her beloved Prince George's County, where she was the state's attorney before she became the county executive. But during her tenure as county executive, all 4 years, Prince George's County topped 100 murders each year, a 500% increase in carjackings. 13% of the people in the state of Maryland say they feel like their health is good to poor. It's 16% in Prince George's County. So nothing in Prince George's County was safe. Prince George's County, for people who don't live in Maryland, used to be one of the wealthiest Black enclaves in the nation. 500% uptick in carjackings, more than 100 murders a year. And you're talking to him about vaccines? Honey, Maryland's got bigger fish to fry. This is not your moment. We knew you weren't going to vote for him. Everybody knows you're not going to vote for him. But why not ask him a legitimate question? Why not give him a chance to respond with the science that you guys jammed down our throat when you made us close businesses, stay home, keep the kids in the house? Because trust the science. Does the science only count when it benefits your party? Because that's exactly what she's showing us. This was the worst mistake that Marylanders have ever made, electing this woman to this office. And you hear Black Democrats in Prince George's County say, "I love Larry Hogan. Larry Hogan is a great leader. He did wonderful things for our state." But we just couldn't trust a Republican in the Senate. He was going to flip the Senate to Republican. Over and over again, I told them, Larry Hogan is never going to be the deciding vote. Never, ever. We're going to win the Senate well before Maryland's votes are even counted. We're going to win the Senate. Now we're stuck with this goofball.
Goofy.
And she's just starting. She literally is just starting.
Yeah,
goofy. Okay, this upsets me so because NIH is a government entity. Lady, you've got access to this information.
We should note, again, and you and I have said this in the air many times, there is no evidence that Joe Biden was, involved in any wrongdoing.
Of course, want to note that there is no evidence that Joe Biden or Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
I just want to reiterate.
And let's be clear for the viewers.
There is no evidence Biden did anything wrong.
Governor, you got a second?
Literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
This is why independent media is so important. Thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called them out for their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote with your dollars. Support Made in America. Back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click Yes, I Want to Make the Switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to take on everything at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com. Click the link and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, we can create real change.
Blacks have greater bone protein density. Okay, this is not revolutionary. This is not new. And she gets on her high moral horse and says it's dangerous. No, you're dangerous because you are ignoring proven medical science in favor of some weird. If you're not going to vote for the guy, fine, don't vote for him. But to get up there and act like this is so verboten is just strange. It's weird. And look in the mirror also, Brooks. You're the reason why they just not put up two white men to lead the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
That same attitude of ignorance.
Yeah, she wouldn't even let him finish. And you can tell she didn't want him to finish. She just wanted to, have her moment. She asked him a question and then she cuts him off before he can finish. Go ahead, Shelly.
Okay, so somebody's gonna be upset with me, but that's never.
I knew you was gonna come with this.
That's never stopped me before. Okay, let me start. I did not vote for Angela Alsobrooks. I will not vote for her. However, if I was sitting there, if that's all that I saw, I would probably not vote for RFK Jr. on that particular point right then and there. And let me tell you why. Because to me, he did not clarify himself. He did not bring any specific evidence. All he quoted was this one study, and that study, I think it was published by the Mayo Clinic. I have it up here. I'm on my computer at the same time. But the study, some of the study researchers, I guess, they even said in the study that it was not geared to just change the schedule. There were some other components that they did not understand why in this particular group and the control group, the experimental and the control group, why these seemingly different immune responses happen to the same dosage of medication. So again, if I were in that audience or if I was a voting member on that particular point, I don't think RFK demonstrated enough information and knowledge to change anyone's mind. So I totally, in this case, I understood from Angela Alsobrooks' perspective. Now, again, I knew she wasn't going to vote for him. She wasn't going to vote for him. This was all.
Do you think what he said was racist? She said what he said was racist.
I don't think it was racist. No, I don't. I don't think it was racist. I just don't think that he represented the science or the experiment well. He should have put more information up, but maybe they didn't give him enough time. They cut him off or whatever. All of that may be fair, but he did not. To me, he did not look like he knew what he was talking about. It looked like he was just throwing things out. So that's how it looked. I'm not saying that's what he intended, but that's how it looked. So I can totally understand her response. Again, she wasn't going to vote for him anyway. I get that.
Well, the thing is,
she asked him a specific question. What should you do with me? Because, I'm Black. Right. And he said, well, the study showed that Blacks should get fewer antigens. Okay. And then I know that a lot of people may not have done this, and it's fine to just listen to the testimony, but the Mayo Clinic did do a study, but NIH has a whole bunch of documentation on this. And here's where also Brooke fell down. Listen, if there's any doubt, then you should not be so strident in your position. Because if you say, okay, well, I don't want to look like a fool here, so All right, Mr. Kennedy. Well, you can provide us with more information on that. And then you can have your grandstand moment. And I'm not voting for you. Well, we all know that anyway. And just keep it moving. You know,
I think she could have done things a little bit differently too. If that were my point to make, God forbid if I was ever a Democrat, Lord have mercy. Don't let that ever happen. But if I were ever a Democrat and I was in her position, I would have referenced history. So there would be some context to why I was, quote unquote, so offended by the thought process that Black people would have to get fewer shots than white people. And I would say, you know, the United States has a pretty storied history of treating us differently when it comes to pain, when it comes to maternal fetal health and experiments on our bodies. So when you say we get things, shots differently, we should have a different vaccine schedule. Precisely what does that mean?
Exactly.
And then he could have said, well, the study showed what he said, but in 17 seconds, neither one of them have the luxury of clarity. She pulled that study out. That was her gotcha moment. Imagine you have an hour to talk to all of these people, and they're looking at everything you've ever said in your life, everything you've ever written, every interview, and they're pulling stuff clean out the sky. So it's almost virtually impossible to be the kind of prepared that you would be for something way
I
back.
can understand that too. And another point that I thought about was that, like you said, for years now, we've been hearing from the left, you know, the medicine is racist towards Black people. So then why is she so upset? He's saying something that seems to support, well, if medicine is racist against Black people, then maybe we want to slow down some of these medications. That's number one. Number two, all this is highlights my point that I've said many times before. Where we are today, almost no one trusts any institution, medicine, law, whatever the case may be, even religion. So we are in a quandary because the science can say one thing in one decade or one experiment, and the same experiment or a similar experiment can be replicated or done again, and it can give us some different results. So we don't know who or what to trust. Yes, the Mayo Institution is a credible, it has been a credible institution. So has NIH I'm just saying, generally speaking, right? But this is the problem. We don't know who to trust anymore. So RFK, maybe he's right. Maybe Angela Alsobrooks has a place to push back. This is the problem. And this is due largely to our government overstepping many bounds, lying to us, the media not taking and doing what they should do, their rightful place in their righteous, if you will, digging in to give the public the facts. That's a lot of that is due to that. So now we are like this. We don't know who to believe, when, where, what, or why.
Listen, and another thing this displays is, you know, that Senate is supposed to be set up there as, you know, to advise and consent. But ever since C-SPAN, when everybody's faces on TV, they're trying to play to the cameras and they're trying to have these gotcha moments. And it's not just the Democrats, let's be fair.
It's everybody.
When you had the Republicans interviewing Biden appointees, they got the FAA guy up there. And well, how often do they change the third light bulb on the right side of the runway at LaGuardia? And I don't know. Okay, what's written on the men's room wall at JFK? Who knows? They're setting these gotcha questions up instead of endeavoring to be substantive. The other thing you saw with RFK in particular was Senate Democrats come out and run defense for the pharmaceutical industry. Okay. As Elizabeth Warren, she damn near started crying. She was so passionate about him not suing the pharmaceutical industry. Like, what the hell's going on here? Who do these people work for? They revealed it during his confirmation hearings.
He dragged Bernie for it too. He did. Bernie was stuttering and stammering and reaching for papers that didn't exist. You know, it was an interesting thing with him because typically politically, nobody likes a traitor. When you change parties, everybody looks at you kind of iffy because they don't really know, are you a plant or do you really believe in what you're saying, right? For him, he doesn't see himself as someone who's changed parties, but this is what he's always wanted to do. And Donald Trump has given him the opportunity to serve in this way. I think the Democrats, Senate Democrats, came after him especially hard because here's one of ours who's, jumped ahead and is doing what we don't want him to do. And Senate Republicans were like, we don't know if we trust you. We don't know because you're not necessarily one of ours. But there used to be a time when being a good American was much more important than being the top Democrat or the top Republican. And